Hey guys, this is Steven and Zach.
Of course.
From Team Covenant, and we are here with another exclusive Fantasy Flight preview. Very cool, very exciting time for us. And this time around, it's for the Star Wars LCG, a game that is continually getting better and better.
It's really phenomenal. Like I know I did a review early on, but this game is just, the more it goes on, the more objective sets we get.
It also takes the most convincing, I think, of any game. It's like, at first it's like, and then it's like, and then it's finally like, all right, it's beautiful. Yeah. And I think more objectives come out, it just gets better and better because there's more options. The deck building is kind of restrictive at first.
Absolutely. So let's talk about one of those upcoming objectives.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is, whenever we saw this for the first time, we kind of freaked out because it's awesome.
It's good.
The flavor's
it's
there.
It's a good set of cards.
Everything's there. So let's kick it off with the actual objective. It's the last Defense of Hoth. Classic 5-1. Nothing new there. It is a Hoth objective, so more fire for that thing. While this objective is undamaged, it gains a very important interrupt. Interrupt. When you would place a card into an edge stack, you may instead look at the top card of your deck and place it face down in your edge stack. And that's limit once per edge battle. Once per edge battle. So you can do this multiple times in the turn if you have multiple edge battles. What's up?
This is fantastic. I'm pretty sure once you see the card, you don't get the option to put it back on top of your deck. It says once per turn you may do this, which is look at it and put it in. But the idea of not having to have cards in your hand for the edge stack to put it in is really kind of ludicrous, especially when you're on offense. But the tough part here is, a typical Sith control deck isn't doing too much damage. So they're going to want, it's like a lot of these objectives are kind of forcing your opponent into attacking as the dark side, which is rough for the Sith control decks, really good for the Imperials. But, I mean, it's obviously a huge target. The interesting part, again, defense is in the name of it, but the light side is going to want to not let this thing get damaged or find a way to remove the damage. But that is a super powerful ability. If the dark side lets that go on, I'm imagining if there's two of these.
Don't get me started. You also have the Yavin 4 redirect, right? So that's going to play a pretty classic. I've been using that thing like crazy. It's an excellent objective, and so it actually is going to be shielding objectives like these. We've seen more and more of these, so I think it's going to be a theme that will be explored to the fullest. But yeah, man, I mean, you could get super lucky. You could get like a 5-4 icon, but then it's like, maybe I didn't want to chuck, my
just
Yoda.
The not having to put cards down and your opponent knowing there's cards down there, it doesn't matter if it's an enhancement with 0. It's another card that they have to oh my gosh, it's there. And this is perfect. I mean, Twist of Fates are just... Can you imagine if you look and it is a Twist of Fate?
Right.
That is the worst.
Changes there. It's like a target of opportunity when you just needed it, or heat of battle, or, something crazy like that.
It's crazy. So if the cards in this objective set are good, in Smuggler decks, this is at least a 1 of, potentially a 2 of, depending on the Hoth theme. So let's look into the cards and see if this is worth
I've heard they're pretty good. Let's start out with a beautiful little card, 1-cost event called Don't Get Cocky. Has Luke there in the gun of the Falcon. Reaction after you win an edge battle by 2 or more Force icons. So this seems to be the objective set of the edge battle. A target participating unit gains 2 guaranteed blast damage icons until the end of the engagement.
And this costs 1.
This costs 1. Yeah.
Ridiculously good.
Talk about unexpected just destruction of an objective. This is a game winner. This is a game closer. This is...
the more events like this that come out, the more things like cancels in my brain become a deal.
Very important, yeah.
Because the idea of adding 2 objective damage, it's like, I have a Y-Wing, he's kind of menacing, and then boom. And it's black, so it doesn't even,
It's going. I mean, you've already won the edge battle by 2 or more, so you're getting it.
Yeah.
And you just can't be really messed with. It's happening unless they cancel the event. And what this signals to me is that the smugglers and spies are going to be, I think, the arbiters of the edge battle. And it feels like that may be where smugglers and spies are best, right? It's all about so Jedi are about the Force, and Rebels are also a little bit about the Force, but they're also just offense, vehicles, just raw power. Where smugglers and spies aren't really either of those things. They're about the edge. They're about the luck, the chance, the just putting yourself out there,
which is really fantastic.
Paying off. Yeah, it's Han Solo 1,000 times over.
It's great.
It's perfect.
So that's a really good card. That's a great start to this objective.
All right, so we're already doing well. Let's go ahead and just go to maybe the shining star of this thing,
The dude.
Col Serra. Now, whenever I read this, I read Colonel Serra, but he's not a colonel from everything that I've read. This is a guy who, in the lore, was kind of friends with Han Solo in the smuggler days, and was asked to put together a something for the rebels, kind of some would say a squadron, and which he did. And so he is the founder of Renegade Squadron. So all the stuff that we've seen so far with Renegade Squadron, all the stuff we will see, Sarah has almost everything to do with it. It's kind of this weird bunch of like smugglers and bounty hunters and stuff, which is awesome.
Well, I think the greatness of this, besides the flavor, this guy you've never probably heard of,
And the
unless
art?
you're really, and the art is also great. But the idea, I mean, he strongly comes from video games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're tapping into the question: can they pull from video games? Can they pull from books?
They're pulling it all.
Yes, they are pulling, and they are doing really well at what they're
Mhm.
pulling. So let's.
But
dive
we've
into
stayed
it.
away from episode 1, 2, and 3, which
We have stayed away from the prequels for the
Pretty
most part. I
solid,
think.
man.
Yeah,
I think I like that strategy a lot.
they're on it. That's for sure.
We're staying around that kind of galactic Rebel versus Imperial thing. He's a four-coster, so this is a real character, right? This is not just a guy.
Same cost as Luke and Han,
Mhm.
so he better be packing. Some
He better
punch.
bring it. He's only got 2 Force icons, which, fair enough, you probably aren't going to want to pitch him anyway. He's got a guaranteed blaster icon there, unit damage, and then 2 edge-enabled objective damage, which is pretty sweet because obviously the light side wants to win the game, and this is how you do it.
They do want to win.
He's got edge 1, further kind of proving the theme here, so he always counts as 1 Force icon on your side. And during an engagement in which you have the edge, this is crazy. This unit cannot be damaged or have focus tokens placed on it by enemy card effects or combat icons.
That's not bad.
During the engagement.
That's not bad. That is not
3
bad.
health. All right, so same health as Luke, and it. I love this. Like, I love the flavor of the dude. I think he's interestingly really good on defense for me. Because not only do you win ties as the defender, but now you already have 1 in the stack. So they can't just kind of try to throw the 1 down and hope that you pass. They've got to really kind of go for that edge battle all of a sudden on defense.
I mean, I also like this guy. I'm picturing he's on the board with Han Solo. They both attack, and the ability to strike with Han first. And even if they're blocking with a black focus icon, they can't really do anything to you.
Right.
He's still going to be able to go, basically.
Still got his
Just
1 damage.
the amount of damage that you can force through
Mhm.
if you win the edge battle is kind of unreal. And then if you win the edge, you play that card earlier, he gets 2 extra, and it's like he himself
That's a
can blow up an
objective done.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that he has 3 health as well, which is a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal. Like I say, this is a perfect example of a character that you're making a choice with every turn. Like, if the time is right, he can go in for the attack. If you win the edge battle, you have the cards to do it. Maybe you have that objective out. You get an extra card in that edge battle. It's going to be pretty easy probably to get that done. But then if you need to, you can also hold him back. And the reason I really like this guy is, it doesn't matter what they attack with. They get attacked with 20 tactics icons and 20 blasters. And as long as you win that edge battle, you get to probably take something out, some little weenie out, and you're going to be undamaged by any of that. None of it. So you're going to refresh next turn and be totally fine, ready to go. So this guy can do double duty really well. And I like that.
A big thing about Edge 1 is the fact that you can attack, already be winning the edge battle, and they have to play cards into it.
They've got to.
You could just say, I'll attack, and then you're like, pass. Put no cards in. They still have to play 1 to win it.
Right.
And then if they do play 1, then you can play 1, and it's much less of a risk. Or you could, it's basically flipping the cards. Twist of Fate normally is really good on defense because they have to put 1 down. You put Twist. They probably want to put a second one, and then you're like, pass. And they're like, oh, man. It's the inverse. You get to do this on offense, which is terrifying
Yeah.
for the dark side. So, I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily at this point run 2 of this objective. It depends on what's left, but he's solid. He does things.
You're probably not going to be sad to see him. I'll say that. All right, so there's Cole. And let's move on to this next guy. Renegade Squadron X-Wing is a 2-cost, 1 Force icon to unit. And, it's an X-Wing. It's a Renegade, but it's a little bit different. It's a Renegade Squadron X-Wing, so let's see what he does. He's got the edge-enabled tactics icon.
Big deal.
Which, more and more these days, that tactics icon is the biggest deal in this game. It's the biggest deal in this game. It's a vehicle, it's a fighter, and it's Renegade Squadron, so we may see some Renegade Squadron synergy stuff coming down the line. It's 2 health, which is nice for 2, and it's got an action, a very important action. Sacrifice this unit to return a target unit with printed cost 2 or lower to its owner's hand. Talk about versatility here. Like, this is straight up versatility. The most obvious thing that happens here, let's say you attack, you win the edge battle, you focus something that's going to maybe cause you trouble, then you use his action to sacrifice him to bounce something else that may cause you trouble. You've just really done a lot of work on the board. That's a huge board advantage play right there.
Absolutely. I mean, there's all sorts of, the dark side blocks with a little 2-cost guy or a 1-cost guy just to kind of get in your way, maybe do some damage, kill something, and then run away. And all of a sudden, it's like, I'm going to focus someone big down, then I'm going to take the other guy and put him back in your hand.
And then Col Serra is undefended, right?
And that's just a solid unit. And absolutely, like, the versatility and the options with this guy are just huge.
Gives you great options.
Absolutely.
So you can see it as kind of the offensive thing. Also good defensive. Great thing to keep back. And if they attack you, try to win that edge battle. Focus whatever is going to do all the objective damage. Bounce something else off the board. Sure. Especially if he's going to die anyway, But more than that, right? So we've been thinking about ways to use this guy on your own.
A more interesting play.
Yeah, what is it? I know they're going to get even more interesting, but right now I think...
Not even specifically. I mean, I'll let you go into specifics, but what you realize when you really read it is you can also target your own things.
Yeah.
So if your opponent focuses down a 2-cost character that you want to put back in your hand and remove, they get 3 or 4 focus on it, or maybe you think they're going to force lightning it or kill it in some way, so you want to protect it. There's also, at this point, the combo that immediately pops to the brain is Princess Leia. 2-cost unit, when she goes away, she gets captured, you remove all your focus. So you have this guy on the board, it's your turn, maybe you have 5 or 6 enhancements out, you have 10, 12 total resources you spend, trigger this ability, put Leia, basically sacrifice her, remove all the focus, you're completely wide open.
Yeah.
And you can do what you want. Even if you get a Luke or a Han that are in trouble, they get 3 or 4 focus on them. It's not looking good for them to be able to attack again. Pop, all of them go away. Or offensively, again, Luke, you attack with Luke and Han, they get locked down, or you attack with just Han and Cole or whoever. They're all focused, and then you pop Leia, and it's like, oh, I get all these dudes to attack again. Like, the sheer offensive power of that combo is huge. Obviously, you have to have 2 pieces to do it, but it doesn't seem too hard to pull off.
Not hard.
And I think we're just getting, the more cards that come out with come into or leave play effects make this card even better and better as we move on.
I just see, you have your early game Luke, your early game Han, or both, and then you have one turn where you play the X-Wing, you play Leia, and they have to do something right there. Or it's potentially game loss.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Now, this is a smuggler card, and Han is a rebel. Not Han. Leia is a rebel. So if you're also playing Luke, you're getting into a very interesting path of life.
It's time to go down that path.
But the more smugglers that come out that are really good, even if you're just running rebel with the objective is the intercept objective Jedi?
The Yavin, yeah.
Yeah. So there's interesting plays with this objective, but I think the ability to bounce a character when you want, even your own character.
A lot of interesting stuff.
Watch any card that comes out with a leave or
inner or leave play effects. Beware, because they're going to happen. They'll
Absolutely.
be there. So let's move on to maybe the least shiny of the pack, but a hard worker nonetheless.
He's working hard for the money.
0 cost Renegade Squadron Recruit looks awesome. By the way, I like to imagine all Renegade Squadron being this race. Wish I knew what it was. I'm sure many people do. It's a unit. Has a single black blaster icon, so it's going to do unit damage, and it's a character, Renegade Squadron. 1 health, 0 cost. He's a guy that's in the objective set,
Yeah, I love 0 cost guys.
Mm-hmm.
The more power you have, the better. Even if he just playing for 0, he's letting you draw faster, attacking objective by himself. You don't care if he dies. If they want to block him, it's fine.
He's a good defender,
Also a great defender. Lets you put cards on the edge. You don't want to put focus on this guy.
No.
Pretty easy to kill. Force choke will get him pretty heavy.
Yeah, please spend it on this guy.
Yeah. So, it's
a guy.
Weenies are weenies.
It's a guy,
they're fine to have around.
And finally, we've got a pretty excellent little card here. One cost, one force icon, a stinging insult. You see Han and Leia there, beautifully portrayed in the art there.
It is. You can feel the emotion.
Yeah, it is a Smugglers and Spies event, and it says reaction after you declare a Smugglers and Spies character unit as an attacker, which should be happening fairly often.
Should.
Target an enemy unit. That unit must defend the engagement if able.
Not cool. Not cool. That's good.
Oh man, is that good?
You know what I love, actually, more than just the ability, but the fact that in this one objective set, we have 2 events that are 1 cost.
Yeah.
We already have a couple other smuggler cards that are 1 cost
Swindled.
events. So
Swindled.
the idea, the super awesome part, you leave one resource open, and now your opponent doesn't know.
Extra
What's
objective
coming.
damage or force
It's
block
like, man,
or bounce.
they attack. It's like if there's extra objective damage here, I lose. They have 1 open. What do? You have to block.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what's coming. But this card, that's fun.
It's good. I mean, I think this is going to be exceptionally strong. There's a lot of times where you have, I mean, even just an easy example is like you have a Yoda loaded up with like 6 blaster icons, right? And like he doesn't have targeted strike, so no one's blocking him. He's maybe going
Come
through
here,
and
Vader.
killing an objective, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it's like Palpatine, come here, like you're blocking me.
I mean, even they have a Palpatine they're sitting on. You force him to block. Let's say he's committed to the Force. He gets his 2 focus. He even puts focus down. But now all you have to do is put 1 more focus on. He's locked down.
Yeah.
For a turn. So there are lots of interesting plays there. They have some, Royal Emperor's Royal Guards.
Mm-hmm.
Get those guys in here because I want to kill them immediately.
Yeah. Kill the screen.
That's being able to draw them out like that is really kind of it's a big deal.
And you can even like there's a lot of good stuff you can do. Just man, I'm thinking like the objective that whenever an enemy unit leaves play, you draw a card. And it's like, well, I'll do a stinging insult, kill one of their mid-level guys, draw a card out of it. Like, it seems like a really good play.
Seems like a good deal.
There's just a lot of good synergies here, and I think the Smugglers and Spies are really starting to form up. And we've got Edge of Darkness coming soon, which is going to further develop these themes.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be the Wild West.
It's going to be cool because I think what's really fascinating about this game, besides archetypes within affiliations, is just each affiliation, both sides have 3 primary affiliations,
Mm-hmm.
which really gives them 3 modes of accomplishing how to win. And I liked your analogy earlier of the different light side goals. But the nice triangle on each side makes it where you probably can't plan for everything, or you can't just be good against everything. And the way you can mix, Jedi with smugglers or smugglers with rebels or whatever, it's really tough to have a deck that is just dominant against everything.
Yeah.
So I like to see each affiliation getting answers to certain problems and just really seeing what their strengths are and becoming good at what they do.
Yeah. And you've got to adapt. I mean, and this is an objective set that allows us to do that. There's a lot of ways of playing these cards in very different ways where to achieve a different result, whether that's saving for defense, going on offense, bouncing your own stuff, bouncing your opponent's stuff. All of that is just really solid.
Yeah, and it's, again, having options. Like, use a card that you can use in more than one way is a really good card.
Yeah.
So a lot of these cards are that. It's a very strong objective set. I can easily see this going in at least a 1-of in decks. If you really like the Leia combo, it could be a 2-of. And it's pretty easy to draw through your deck in this game. So, fantastic objective set.
The last thing I'll say is this is, I think, what's becoming to me classic kind of Fantasy Flight design, which is really cool, is this is an objective set that revolves around the edge battle, I would say. Like, you have the edge-enabled focus on the Renegade Squadron. You have Col Serra, who's obviously all about that. You have the objective set. Yet, everything in this objective set is 1 force icon, except for Cole, who's 2. So they don't give you a lot of force icons to work with, but they want you to win those edge battles.
Yeah.
So you gotta buff it up, and we'll see the days where you're gonna include objective sets in your deck just to get those giant force icons, just to get them.
Well, and what's fascinating, this is what I always love about games, and really testifies to the game itself. When you have cards like Cole on the board who are so good winning the edge, like when you win the edge battle, really sometimes it's not even getting the benefit that matters. It's forcing your opponent to not let you win that edge battle.
Yeah, they've got to check good cards.
Yeah, you attack with Cole, and it's like, to do anything to him, you have to win this edge battle. But then I've got Han sitting here with a trust your feelings. And it's like, you really want to win that edge battle later.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to pick. And I might not even attack with Han if you don't pitch your cards to this, and I know I can win the edge battle with him. So the tricks and what you can kind of force your opponent into by having things that are great when you win the edge battle may be more powerful than winning the edge battle abilities themselves.
Boom. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the last Defense of Hoth objective set coming out in the Assault on Echo base force pack. Should be next week.
Should be here soon.
Hoping for next week. So if you're a subscriber, that'll be going out to you. If you want to check it out on our site, you can pre-order that. And another special thanks to Fantasy Flight for doing this to kind of spread the love with the spoilers. It's very cool, and we're more than happy to do it. So I hope you guys dig it, and if we can help you with anything, let us know. We'll see you next time.